Hey everybody, we are back, better than before. It's driving home with the professor. My wife got me a new mount. Well, it's actually her mount that I commandeered, but it's a mount for the car. I think it's gonna work better than the last one we had. Who knows, we'll see. Just got done training. It's been a long time since I've talked to you folks on the YouTubes and the interwebs and the internet and all that stuff. And quite a few people asked me, hey, whatever happened to those videos? And honestly, my mount broke, and I was like, I just got kind of tired of it, but whatever. I'm back, excited. We're driving at home with the professor. So right now, a question that you may have for yourself or for me. So I posed this question to myself a few weeks ago. I was like, what are the things that I need to work on as a martial artist to get myself better? And if I can't get over to my instructor's school, right, how do I get better? How do I, coach myself? And, what are the things that I need to do to improve when I can't work or I have limited access to training partners, right? Limited access to training partners, or the only training partners I have, I'm much better than. And I remember a long time ago, I listened to or read somewhere where BJ Penn talked about, training certain positions to exhaustion. Just because, if you're BJ Penn or if you're certain, world champions, and some of your training sessions, you're not training against other world champions. Well, how do you get better, right? There's drilling. There's training to exhaustion and all this other stuff. And I know BJ would say he would train to exhaustion where, at least this is what I recall. I could be just kind of making this up, but regardless, I'm going to credit this to BJ Penn. You train the positions to where, by the end of the training session, blue belts or white belts or guys that you're much better than are tapping you out from these positions, whereas before they couldn't even dream of catching you or tapping you from those positions. So for me personally, I've been on a crusade for my jiu-jitsu, and lately I haven't been able to get over to my instructor school, even though I have the benefit of training on a regular basis with really good black belts, and I do this with them as well. Is that I've been working the closed guard. So the last couple of weeks, I'd ask my training partner, hey, do you care if we start from my closed guard? And if they're a black belt, I ask, and if they're not a black belt, I ask them, but I'm really telling them that this is where we're starting from, and I have that latitude since I'm, typically the instructor, if I'm, in my own school or if I guest teach somewhere else and that kind of thing. So last couple of weeks I've been training for my closed guard and just working a whole new set of, sweeps and submissions and all these other things, and just really getting back to, fundamental, basic closed guard. And, my idea was start from closed guard, and now what? If they pass, my only guard that I can attack from consistently is closed guard. So I'll just, if I get my guard passed or they stand up, my job is to get back to closed guard and, re-attack or sweep or get, all this other thing, and improve my position. Obviously, if I get a really good position like mount, I'm not going to dive to closed guard again, but I'm not afraid if it happens. So that was a couple weeks of really kind of like making my closed guard better, right? And now a step past that is I'm working on starting from cross side. So somebody's pinning me, and like the guys that don't know what I'm doing, I'm just telling them, hey, we're going to start you cross side. I'm going to be exclusively working to get to closed guard. You try and stop me, and from closed guard I'm going to be trying to sweep or submit you, and that's my job. So when I'm working with guys that are blue belts or purple belts or brown belts or other black belts, they know, okay, you know what? He's working on this specific set of techniques, and it allows me to kind of game plan on my own, but also work from spots that are, spots that maybe I don't normally get in with certain people with certain lower belts or, lesser experienced martial artists or what have you. So, if you're good and you're letting guys start from strong positions, then you got to work. So it's not easy. If you let somebody set a pin in from cross side and all right, I'm working to close guard. Well, there were a couple times tonight that I couldn't even get close to close guard. And it was good for me to see, okay, what were my mistakes? What was I doing wrong? What could I do better? And also my opponent knowing, hey, they've realized what my game plan was because I told them. And it's good for them, you know, if they're training with somebody and they realize, hey man, this guy really goes for this one move, how do I shut it down? Or I've scouted this guy for competition and I know he's really good at this, how do I shut that down? So there definitely are ways for you as a martial artist, and we're just using jiu-jitsu as the example right now for me in particular, and for anybody. You could use whatever, kickboxing, boxing, taekwondo, karate, you know, those kinds of things is kind of putting your training partner in a much better position and working from there, or letting your training partner know, I'm going to be, most of my training is going to be geared, or most of our sparring or most of our live training is going to be geared towards working towards this punch, this series of kicks, this sweep series, this positional exchange. You know, I'm going to be working towards that. So I need you to be aware of that and don't let it happen. Stop it. So driving it home with the professor. I'd like to think we're back. Hopefully this new mount that I confiscated from my wife does the job and the trick. Hopefully you guys are happy that I'm back. If you're not happy, well, I'm sorry, you know, but I'm back regardless. So we'll be talking to everybody soon. If you have any questions, feel free to either put them here on Facebook, Instagram, I'm all over, YouTube, all that good stuff. All right, driving it home.